character and determination, and cracked the Edmonton team. And then, like they say, if you want to see Canada, join the CFL. So kicked around for 8 years and had a really good time. So it's been a wonderful thing. It's been a wonderful part of my life. I wish every kid could have something that they could love as much as I love football. And of course now I have Carly, Jenna, and Josh and Caden and Adam and Nick and little Nathan in the stroller there. So a lot more to love besides football, but what a great thing in my life. Thank you very much for making this a great night.
Our first builder of the evening left a legacy of excellence as an outstanding wrestling coach.
It's one thing for a coach to be able to take the skills and talents he learned as an athlete and pass them along to others. It's another thing when the people receiving those lessons have the utmost of respect for the person delivering that message. Such was the case with the late Todd Hinds, who was a successful and respected coach within the amateur wrestling community from the local to the world level. Growing up in Thunder Bay, Todd started out like a lot of local kids, wanting to pursue a career in hockey. As the years progressed, he realized that his small stature was likely more suited to different sports, so he tried them all, taking to tennis, soccer, ski hills, and even gave break dancing a try. But it was wrestling that would prove to be the one he was most suited to, as it allowed him the opportunity to match his opponents pound for pound. Taking to the mats with the Northwestern Ontario Wrestling Club and Hammersholt High School, he quickly established himself as a force to be reckoned with, claiming the 42-kilo event at the 1984 Canadian Juvenile Wrestling Championships held that year in Saskatoon. At the high school level, he dominated local and regional matches and claimed 3 consecutive OFSA titles, bringing home gold in 1985, 86, and 87. In addition to being an outstanding athlete, he was also well respected by his fellow students and teachers alike, as he was selected to deliver the high school valedictorian address. His exceptional talents took him to the University of Manitoba, where he went on to star with the Parsons, claiming multiple tournament titles, 2 Canadian Inter-University Wrestling Crowns, and 5 CIS All-Canadian honors. He was also named the 1989 CIS Canada West Most Outstanding Wrestler. Following graduation, he spent some time back home coaching with his former club and at Lakehead University before returning to the U of M as an assistant coach. In 1996, he was offered a head coaching position with the University of Saskatchewan. That provided him the opportunity to help rebuild a program which was facing the possibility of being dropped as a varsity sport. And never one to shy away from a challenge, he not only rebuilt the men's program, he also started a successful women's program that produced some of Canada's top athletes. In addition to spending 17 years as coach of the Huskies wrestling team, he also successfully pursued his master coach certification and was involved in various capacities with Wrestling Canada. Serving as a coach of the women's national team program for over a decade, he traveled with his athletes to competitions around the world. As a young wrestler, Todd had a dream of making it to the Olympics, and although he didn't get the chance to hit the mats as an athlete, he did get the chance to march into the opening ceremonies of the 2004 Games in Athens as an assistant coach with the Canadian women's team, and be on hand to witness Tanya Verbeek win a silver medal, the first for a Canadian woman. Todd's talents as a coach didn't go unnoticed, having earned Canada West Coach of the Year honors at 4 points during his career and being named the 2007 CIS Coach of the Year. The impact that this incredible coach and builder of sport had on the wrestling community of Canada was evident by the outpouring of respect and sympathy that was felt at the time of his untimely passing in 2015. Reading the messages provided by his former athletes and colleagues, one quickly realizes just how much passion he had for the sport and how he would literally go to the mat to encourage his athletes to be the best they could be. As one colleague noted, Todd was much more than a coach. He was a mentor, an advocate, a friend, a training partner, even a crying towel when need be, and he was totally committed to getting his athletes to meet their maximum potential as wrestlers, students, and as positive role models. In honor of his contribution to their wrestling program, University of Saskatchewan established the Todd Hinds Memorial Awards in Wrestling, and the Saskatoon Wrestling Club's annual fundraiser has been renamed the Todd Hinds Memorial Golf Tournament. Two fitting tributes for this dedicated coach who developed his knowledge and passion for wrestling in his hometown of Thunder Bay.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the Northwestern Ontario Sports Hall of Fame the name of the late Todd Hinds, being proudly represented here this evening by his sister Heather Lynn Pura and mother Irene Hinds. Also here this evening are other proud members of Todd's family and a number of people from the wrestling community, including former Hammersholt wrestling team members. Upon learning about the induction of Todd into his hometown Hall of Fame, a number of former athletes, colleagues, and friends sent along remembrances of Todd, and we wanted to share some highlights of their thoughts here with you tonight. The first one, my remembrances of Todd will be very lasting. He was extremely passionate about his sport, but more importantly, about the student athletes that came under his mentorship. He was their coach, their mentor, and their friend. He lived and breathed their every accomplishment and was like a proud papa when they excelled. To him, each of them were very special, whether they were just learning the sport, a national champion, or an Olympian. They were all his wrestlers. Todd was highly respected and loved by his coaching colleagues here at the University of Saskatchewan. His love of laughter, his love of good competition, and his interest in the success of all are attributes that will never be forgotten. His legacy lives on at the University of Saskatchewan and within Husky Athletics, and that's from Basil Hewson, Athletic Director, University of Saskatchewan. The second message, when I think of Todd, I think of the passion he had for wrestling, but also the love he had for all of his athletes. Todd was a father to me. He helped me through the good times and the bad. He always made time to listen. He created a family I will always be proud to be a part of. Todd was a great man that made me see the greatness inside of myself. Without him, I would have never known that the Olympics could become a reality. He showed me the path. He carved the way. He was there to help me on my journey to the Olympic Games. He was a large part of my success. I thank him for being such a patient person. I will never forget him, and that's from Jillian Galaise, 2014 world bronze medalist and member of the 2016 Olympic team as well. A third message, Todd played an incredibly important role in my life, perhaps one of the most important. I met Todd when I was 12 or 13 years old. He was already a legend then, beating up everyone on the Huskies and only weighing 56 kilograms soaking wet. The respect everyone had for him as an athlete was only second to the respect we had for him as a caring coach. Todd's absolute belief in others was simply inspiring. In 2010, after finishing third at seniors, I decided that I was finished and that I had done my best. I walked away from wrestling for good, and it wasn't until months later Todd came to me and told me that it wasn't my time to quit. Because he cared, I came back into the sport and entered the most successful years of my life. And that's from Jeff Adamson, a 5-time national champion and a successful Canadian wrestling team member. A fourth message, Todd Hinds had a passion for wrestling. He loved to wrestle. He loved to talk about wrestling. He loved to watch wrestling and loved being around wrestlers and the sport. You could not be around Todd without him sharing his passion for the sport with you, be it with some coaching advice or just a story from his wrestling days about himself and his buddies. Todd had tons of stories. He did everything he could to make wrestling an enjoyable experience for for all, and he created an atmosphere in the room that helped create lifelong bonds between athletes. He is missed every day, and that's from Megan Boyden Hernician. Megan Boyden Hernician, 2010 Commonwealth Games silver medalist. And finally, the last message we have, it says, the passion Todd had for the sport of wrestling and the people within it was unrivaled. There are many unforgettable stories and tales about Todd reacting to great wins and devastating losses by his athletes that will live on in infamy. Whether it was vaulting his body in the air with arms rising to the sky, giving a Todd bear hug to a sweaty combatant, a high five and a slap on the back, or graciously talking his frustration out on a chair. Everyone in the gym was always aware that Todd's passion was genuine, heartfelt, and could not or should not even try to be emulated. He was what every athlete, parent, administrator, and co-coach wanted in a leader, a deep burning desire to make everyone around him the best they could be. And that's from Shane Bradley, the assistant coach of the University of Saskatchewan Huskies wrestling team. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hinds family.
Thank you, Northwestern Ontario Sports Hall of Fame, its board and selection committee for this honor today, for selecting my brother Todd Hinds as a builder this year. A special thank you to you, Dave, Diane, and Catherine, Kate, for navigating me through this event. Thank you, Thunder Bay. You were Todd's hometown. You laid the foundation to build the talented coach that Todd became. In the late 1970s, our principal at City House School, Mr. Pausahan, recognized Todd's athletic abilities. Because Todd was smaller than his peers, Mr. Pausahan encouraged Todd to try wrestling, a sport geared to allow athletes to compete fairly based on weight. A singlet came home, which our parents did not know what that was at first, and then the ribbons started to come home after that. Thank you, Mr. Pausahan. Mr. Harry Curtis was Hammershold's wrestling coach when Todd entered high school. He began sculpting Todd as a wrestler. As time went on, he became Todd's mentor and great friend. The values you taught him helped create the awesome coach he became. Thank you, Mr. Curtis. Though Todd did not attend LU for education, during his university days, whenever he came home, he spent his spare time training at LU with Francis Clayton. As a coach, when he brought the U of S Huskies home for the Gord Garvey tournament, Todd proudly took his athletes for a tour of his hometown. He'd load them into an extended van, create a compilation of motivational music, and then educate them on the beauty of his hometown, Thunder Bay. From Kekabeka to Terry Fox, the Sleeping Giant, and lunch at the Hoyto. The kids learned about Thunder Bay. I imagine it's every young athlete's dream to reach the Olympics. I'm very proud to say Thunder Bay has produced its share of Olympians. Similarly, I think it's every coach's dream to create an Olympian, but even more so to bring that athlete to the Olympics as their coach. Todd's dream was to go to the Olympics when he was an athlete or in competing. Todd's coaching talents led him to coach the Canadian women's national team. He traveled all over the world with his athletes. In Athens in 2004, he was the women's assistant coach with his Husky athlete, Viola Yannick, competed. This year in Rio, Huskies Jillian Galaise competed. Todd coached her for many years with the Huskies. He knew she had the talent to reach the Olympic level. On behalf of Todd's mother, myself, and our family, we sincerely thank you once again for recognizing Todd as a builder and inducting him into the Northwestern Ontario Sports Hall of Fame. We've always been proud of him, and we'll always be proud of him. for his dedication as a coach, a friend, a mentor, and the kind human being that he was. Thank you.
As a coach, instructor, and visionary, this builder of sport truly left his mark on the world of hockey.
The late Jim Johnson truly epitomized the definition of a builder of sport, having been a driving force behind the formation of key sport organizations and venues in his adopted community of Thunder Bay. Born in Toronto and raised in Cambridge and Fort Erie, it was there he first took to the ice and began his involvement in hockey, which would last for decades. Attending McMaster University and Osgoode Hall Law School during the 1960s, he helped convene their intramural and varsity hockey programs, and upon graduation, continued his involvement in the game, becoming a director and coach with the North Toronto Minor Hockey Association. When he made the move to Thunder Bay in the early 1970s, Jim brought his passion for the game and his strong sense of community service with him. Over the course of the next 4 decades, he dedicated himself to helping grow the game and provide opportunities for others. Throughout the 1970s, he helped coach in the minor ranks, got involved with junior hockey, serving as a director with the Thunder Bay Hurricanes and as president of the Buccaneers. As his young family began to grow, he coached alongside them, moving up through the minor ranks to the AAA level throughout the 1980s and early 90s. Helping lead teams to provincial gold, he also coached the Thunder Bay Bearcats to a bronze medal at the 1988 Air Canada Cup National Midget Championships. With a strong belief in the importance of providing training opportunities for hockey coaches and volunteers, he spent a decade serving as an instructor for the NCCP coaching clinics, and in 1986 was asked to provide instruction at a hockey school in Nottingham, England. In the late 1980s, Jim began working on creating what he believed was an important building block in the development of local and regional hockey players, with the desire to allow players the opportunity to stay at home and play the game in a comprehensive, fun, and safe environment and still have the chance to compete at the highest level. He served as the founding father of the Thunder Bay Kings AAA hockey organization. Serving as the club's first president in 1989, he went on to help develop the club as a coach, director, and longtime supporter. The legacy of his vision remains to this day, with a number of Kings alumni going on to enjoy full collegiate scholarships and pro hockey careers, many of them making it to the NHL. Another legacy of this builder of sport is the Thunder Bay Tournament Center, which he helped create during the mid-1990s. In addition to providing his community with access to a modern sports facility, he also created a partnership with the Florida Panthers, Los Angeles Kings, and St. Louis Blues, which saw NHL draft choices travel to Thunder Bay to participate in a 2-week summer development camp. The next group to benefit from his drive and support was Lakehead University. Approached in 2000 to help lead the charge to reintroduce a program to the school, he took on the challenge with great enthusiasm. Becoming the program's lead investor, he encouraged others to follow suit, and CIS Hockey returned to the area for the 2001-2002 season. Jim became the first president and director of hockey operations for Thunderbolts Hockey, in a position he held until 2005. In addition to being a hockey administrator, player agent, and volunteer, Jim was also a proud hockey dad, following the careers of his 3 sons, who all played collegiate hockey at the University of North Dakota, with Greg and Ryan also going on to play in the NHL. Jim's contributions to Thunder Bay were not just limited to sports. He also served as the first chair of the board for the Thunder Bay Economic Development Corporation and was active with a number of community groups. In recognition of his dedication, he received many awards, and with his passing in 2008, the Thunder Bay Kings established their annual alumni game in his memory. During an interview in the 1990s, Jim was asked to reflect back upon a highlight from his time in hockey. His answer serves as a reminder of what is truly important about the game and the pure passion he had for it.
We've been to the Air Canada Cup and to a number of national championships. Probably my greatest memory in coaching is the first year I coached, when I took over a team that was losing every game by significant scores. And in my first year of coaching, we learned not to lose by 8-0, but by 5-0. then we'd lose by 3 goals, and then we'd try to win a game. And by the end of the season, we won the league championship, and to take that kind of that was sort of a dream come true in your first year of coaching. How can you top that, eh?
Jim Johnson accomplished a great deal during his life, but his proudest accomplishment was sharing a life with his wife Judy, sons Greg, Ryan, Corey, and his daughter Sarah, who are equally proud of his contributions, as are all the citizens of his adopted hometown who continue to benefit from this builder of sports vision and dedication.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the Northwestern Ontario Sports Hall of Fame the name of the late Jim Johnson, being proudly represented here this evening by his wife Judy and sons Ryan and Corey. Ryan and Corey have both traveled here for this special night, with Jim's son Greg and daughter Sarah being unable to make this trip, but sending along their best wishes. A number of Jim's friends are also here, as are representatives from the Thunder Bay Kings and Thunderwolves hockey, who are truly indebted to the contribution Jim made to their organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ryan Johnson to speak on behalf of the Johnson family.
Thank you. As stated, speaking on behalf of my mom Judy, my brother Corey, also brother Greg and sister Sarah, who unfortunately can't be here tonight. To start off, on behalf of our family, I'd like to congratulate the other inductees here tonight. I know Dad would be completely honored to be mentioned among you, so congratulations. Also, thank you to the Northwestern Ontario Sports Hall of Fame for this evening. The people behind the scenes, I know through word of mouth what has gone into this, so we can't thank you enough. Dad would be completely humbled to be entering to this prestigious group, and for those that know him, had he been alive today, it would have been probably an uphill battle to even to get him to come here tonight. So thank you again. Thank you again also the people that are here mentioned locally, from our friends and families and people that have kind of been along this journey with him along the way. I can't thank you enough for being here. And although Corey and I are in here very quickly, it's so nice to see your faces, and it's much appreciated. Commonality that goes along with this video that resonates through all kind of his endeavors and achievements is not what, contrary to what you might think as hockey, it really was not it. It was about the kids. It was about creating opportunity. It was about the city of Thunder Bay creating the best possible place he could to raise his own kids, but have the people of Thunder Bay raise their kids, give them an opportunity. Hockey was but a mere canvas for him. It was a platform to instill values and ethics, morals, and life lessons that he knew they would carry far beyond their adolescent years and into them with them for the rest of their lives. Those who knew Jim Johnson in different capacities, a husband, for us a father, a friend, a colleague, even a coach. I share with you, I think, something that may resonate with your experience with him, or which kind of sums him up as a person. As a young kid, kind of struggling to find his way a little bit, he eventually sat me down to have a conversation and said, "Son, this journey we can go on can kind of go one of two ways. I can be your friend, or I can be your father, but I certainly can't be both. So I can be your friend, we can laugh along this journey, we can be buddies, we can kind of tiptoe through this, just enjoy each other. And if that's what you want, I certainly don't think I have that in me to do. So I'm going to decide to be your father. I'm going to be extremely hard on you. I'm going to use every opportunity I have to teach you about determination, hard work, sacrifice, and respect for others. And I know this fulfilling life that you're searching for, if you can pick up on some of this, I think you'll find it. But he said, son, this is going to be extremely tough. It's going to be a tough, tough road. And there are going to be days, there's going to be weeks, maybe even months that you may not like me. But when all is said and done and you go on and you become a man and you go off and chase your endeavors and you chase your dreams, all I can hope is that for one day you can come back home, look at me and call me your friend. And I speak on behalf of my other siblings. We've all gone off and chased our dreams and chased what we've wanted in life. But we're very fortunate to come back at some point to Thunder Bay and look at our dad, call him our father, but also call him a great friend. It was a tough road, and all that he did, he often incorporated the tough road because he knew that's what was going to bring him the greatest reward at the end of it. We lost him 8 years ago at the age of 63, and as far as we're concerned, it was very much too soon. I often sit and wonder what our lives would be like, what our community would be like if he had just even one more day. Because Dad was a person that could do so much with just one day. Thank you again for being here. Thank you again to the Northwestern Sports Hall of Fame. Much appreciated for everything, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
As we have seen tonight, all of our 2016 inductees have contributed greatly to the sports history of our region. Thank you all for being a part of this evening in honor of sports excellence. To close out this evening, we are pleased to welcome back to the stage Denise Krawchuk for a final tribute to our 2016 inductees.